Hi there, this is Sharon. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, Just Fishing. Now, in a previous video, I was talking about the anatomy of a fishing rod, and I mentioned something about power and action, and I stated that I wanted to do a separate video on power and action because it's a very important characteristic of a fishing rod, and even as a beginner, you should have a basic understanding of what power and action means, because it's important that you get a fishing rod that suits your skills and also that you can use and learn how to fish with properly, okay? So what is power and action? Well, let's take a look at power and then action. Now, power is simply the amount of force or weight it takes to flex a blank of a fishing rod. And blanks flex in different locations down the rod itself. Sometimes it's referred to as rod weight. Sometimes it's referred to as power value. Now, when they say rod weight, they're not talking about the physical weight of the fishing rod. They're talking about the amount of weight it takes to flex the blank. Now, blanks, as I mentioned, flex in different locations down the blank. If your blank flexes between the tip top and, say, the second line guide, which is maybe a quarter or a third down, depending on how long your rod is up here, it's considered to be a heavy rod. If the blank is flexing more towards the center, it's considered to be a medium rod. And if it flexes more down towards the butt or the handle, it's considered a light rod. So generally, the labels for power are heavy, medium, and light. Now, there are combinations. There's medium light, medium heavy, ultra light, ultra heavy. But let's just stick with the three basics. Heavy, medium, light. So the less weight it takes to bend the blank, the lighter the rod is. The more weight it takes to bend the blank, the heavier the rod is. So let's talk about action. Well, action is simply the reverse of power. Action simply is the blank returning from a bent position to a neutral position, which is straight along still, okay? It stands to reason that if you have a heavy rod and it's only bending from the tip top down to maybe the first quarter, that it takes less time to go back to the neutral position than a fishing rod whose blank is flexing from down here. It takes longer. So what you will have is anywhere from tip top down to the first quarter, this will be considered a fast rod. Tip top down to the middle will be considered moderate. Tip top down to the butt end will be considered slow because there's more of the blank to go back to the neutral position. Now, some manufacturers use the same labels as they would for power when they're talking about power action on their fishing rods. Don't let that confuse you. If you see a fishing rod that just says medium and not medium moderate, chances are you've got a medium power, moderate action fishing rod. If it just says heavy, then you have a heavy power, fast action fishing rod. So don't let it confuse you. But if you want to find out a bit more about it, you can go to my blog, which is real as in fishing reel, galsfish.blogspot.com, and you can find some write-ups and charts that explain what I'm talking about here in this video. Okay? So, just a quick review. Power, amount of force or weight it takes to flex the blank of a fishing rod. Action is how fast that fishing rod blank returns to the neutral position, depending on, of course, the power. All right? So you have heavy, medium, and light, and you have fast, moderate, and slow fishing rods. Now, so what's the best one to get if you're a beginner? Well, I would strongly recommend a 6 to 6'6" spinning rod that is medium power, moderate action, because you have the flexibility of a light rod, which is more forgiving, and the rigidness of a heavier rod, which is more sensitive. So it's an all-around, all-species fishing rod, anything from panfish right up to carp, okay? That's what I recommend for beginner, all right? So don't forget, please follow my YouTube channel. You'll find the button up here somewhere at the end of the video. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram under my handle, RealGalsFish, or go to my blog, realgalsfish.blogspot.com. This is Sharon.
Well, Well, y'all come back now, you hear?